Okay, so I've just arrived in Odessa. First beer.
Beer?
I'm at this little place, well not a little place, but I'm at this place called Arcadia. It's where all the sort of the beach parties type happen. Even a place called Ibiza Beach Club. Nothing like Ibiza, I can tell you this now, because I have been here before.
Are you sure about that?
It's okay for a day or so. The old town, which you'll see, is far, far nicer.
I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's do it.
This is good for families. This is good for people having fun. This is sort of like the strip. Here we go. Sort of kind of an amusement type area, but having a beer.
Quiero pensar, quiero ver el real. No parece vacilante, así te pongo a batallar. Le quito más de lo que no se va a ir. Estamos para el lobo, sin ti, sin lobo. Cocinando con niños, pegando la televisión. Te mantiene presión, sin matar la televisión. Si no tienes cuidado, la recuperación.
Today's music suck. I mean, I go into the car and turn the radio on and my ears instantly start to bleed. I don't know what's going on with today's music, but it's gotta stop.
So I find myself in the Ibiza Beach Club, just for your benefit. In fact, only reason I want you to experience what it's like through my eyes. Sadly, it doesn't live up to the music of Ibiza. I wrote a review on TripAdvisor, I think 1 or 2 years ago, saying the music sucks. The music has not changed. The music still sucks. This is not the music music you would find on the White Isle of Ibiza. This is music you would probably find, well, here. And also Mexico, maybe Ayia Napa, but it's total. I won't say it because there's children watching, but you get my point. The music's terrible. Music finally got better. They realised this is called Ibiza, not Ayia Napa, so the music got better.
Well, that's a relief.
Safe to say the music's got a lot better. They took my advice. I did actually have a word as well. But I'm pleased. Good vibes.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm not.
Yo, this is pretty much the end of the day at the Ibiza Beach Club. Kicking everyone out before the acts come on later. Sadly, all EDM acts. Nero's playing. I'm not playing, so I'm gonna go exploring. But beautiful, eh? I love the sort of Monet type backdrop. Amazing. Rum. Every man needs rum. You have to excuse me, I've got little bits in my teeth, but it's these sort of like nice little bits, nice little places where this man is the chef and this lady over here, I don't know where she is, but we're somewhere in that bar, provides good quality food, good quality beer, and it's just meters off the main strip. But it's not on the main strip, so it's a fraction of the price. It's not glamorous. And to be honest, I chose it because look how tatty my shirt is. I've been wearing this shirt around the world, traveling with me for too many years. I will go home now and change to something more presentable. At night time, Arcadia turns into a bit of an amusement park, really. Bumper cars, little rides. Everyone's sort of kind of waiting for the their clubs. The main club being Ibiza, down here in the Arcadia. To be honest, I find the Old Town more entertaining, and that's exactly where I'm going to go now.
Крайне редко. Есть бывают даже моменты, там говорят, там увидимся, ну говорю, увидимся, но так и не получается.
Okay, so one of Odessa's best cocktail bars. I have to go for a cocktail, there we go. Cheers. That's good, that's very good.
Next morning.
This is my ship-themed bedroom and apartment. It's quite bizarre, but like, yeah.
What you just saw there were two buses that sort of operate in the city. They don't look like much, but Google is actually quite good here. I think it's to do with the fact that a lot of people in Ukraine are programmers, and a lot of people spend a lot of the time online. So if you use Google, you can get around on those sort of buses very easily. Just look for the right number. Did you see that, by the way? Sort of a unicorn. Not a unicorn, just a horse. Yeah, it's use Google. You can get around very cheaply. It's one way of getting around. Sort of price roughly about sort of 50 cents a journey, maybe less actually. Although taxis are so cheap here that it's, you know, I find myself using taxis a lot more. Hey, so there's many of these coffee places sort of scattered around the Odessa. This is actually sort of an old market, and in this market there's a lot of bookstores, computer stores, coffee stores like this one behind. And this coffee is just a simple Americano. Prices have gone up over the years I've been visiting Ukraine. This one is now 15 hryvnia, which is about just over 55 cents, 60 cents. So to the Brits, it's just under 50p. So about 40 pence, 45 pence. Obviously, depending on what the exchange rate is at the time you watch this. Today's exchange rate, 28 to the dollar, and about 36 to the pound, give or take. Anyway, it's one of the many coffee shops.
2 hours later.
Это именно бухта радости. Корпорации, но пока мы с вами сокращаем. Прекрасное тело, 3 дня не ела. Света умничка. Она выше монатика. Такое редко где встретишь. Обожаем эти моменты, когда в честь танцора звучат аплодисменты! Пьяный шоу, умничка. Я вначале думал, это обезьянка Абу из мультика про Аладдина. Присмотрелся, нет, живой человек, королева дискотек. Приятно видеть такого красивого человека с бокалом.
Into the city or away from the sort of beach, because I'm right by the beach at the moment, you can get cheaper food. However, there are still Ukrainian outlets that serve basically buffet style food. You just sort of pick your food. I'm going for a salad, piece of chicken and a beer and some nuts to go with the beer, sort of strange ones. And the total price is about just under £5, so it gives you some idea. So probably about $5.50, $6.
346 minutes later.
А що, є такі, що бухають ваші чити?
Bonjour. No, I'm not in Paris. I'm actually on one of the main streets in Odessa. It feels like Paris. It's honestly an amazing, amazing vibe. I just had some good mussels. Check this out. And this is Odessa. Cheers. In Ukraine that's got a nice sink. See this? The soap, the taps, and there's some stones. I don't know why I'm showing you this, but I like that.
Touch pain, and it's in here's the room waiting for you. My heart has disappeared. Now the confusion is also.
Here beneath you, my dream of love is coming true. Breathing on desert caravan. Night, night, night. It's time for the shine so bright. Let me see all the fake light. The shine upon a caravan. Sleep upon my shoulder as we across the fence of my feet. Let me see all the caravan.
Next morning.
Hopefully you can hear me here. It's a little bit noisy. You've got like air vents just in front of me and they've got the loud music behind me. But one of the things I've noticed about Ukraine, especially traveling around Ukraine, is their obsession with technology.
Technologic.
This shop right here is a prime example of one of their obsessions with technology.
Technologic.
Unlike any other nation I've been to in the world, they seem to be ahead of the curve when it comes to embracing innovative new things. You remember this sort of the hoverboards that everyone was on, but they're not hoverboards, they're basically things on wheels. Ukrainians embrace those far quicker than the rest of the world. Ukrainians embrace the unicycle wheels, they embrace the... I've even seen people with jetpacks, you know, in the sort of water areas. But I'm just going to go and have a look inside, do a little bit of filming just to show you sort of some of the technology that they're embracing right now. And you see these guys all over the place, just in the same way you'd see people rollerblading, skateboarding, just on bikes anywhere else in the world. These guys are on the electronic gadgets whizzing around everywhere. I like it. Let's see what they've got. Okay, maybe a little bit more basic than I was expecting. Some of those technology shops sometimes have some real cutting edge devices. Today, not so. Although I was impressed with the sort of electric motorcycle and the electric bikes. Really good idea. One day, I think, maybe when I'm stopped traveling, I might get one of those. A nice place to get a cheap drink in Odessa is this market just off the main street, Krasniki Street. I'm saying that wrong, but this great place to get sort of cheap cocktails, cheap beers, and just sort of very favourable atmosphere in the evenings. I have to admit, I haven't filmed it in the evening yet because simply one gets a little bit distracted by cocktails and beers. But this, while I remember during the daytime, is a good place to have a few drinks and get social with the locals. Only in Ukraine would you see a guy with a machine gun and a pistol. I think it's fancy dress, but if this was London, that man would be arrested by the police. If this was New York, that man would be shot. It's a bit weird. Just basically, this is a McDonald's on the main street, and even if it is fancy dress, that is very strange. I'm tempted to go to have a conversation, but I'm thinking, am I going to get shot? Okay, it's always best to have a conversation with someone. This gentleman here has dressed up as a character from Resident Evil. It explains it all, but the weapon and the pistol, I have to admit I was a little bit nervous, but I'm glad that he's a safe individual. Thank you very much. Enjoy the party.
Is that all you got?
So right behind me is Odessa's famous opera house, a very beautiful building. Sadly, I'm not dressed to go to the opera today, but if you do decide to go to the opera, compared to Western prices, it's considerably affordable, and the standard is exceptionally high. They often have operatic performances from famous opera performers from around the world. I'm sure you'll be able to tell me who they are. But also, I think they also do a ballet in there. I could be wrong, but I think they have ballets being performed in that. And if they do, from my memory, they get the people like the Moscow Ballet Company, the St. Petersburg Ballet Company, and all the ballet companies from around the world will visit this place. I also hear they do modern performances. A little bit rare, but they do modern performances of certain musical styles. But well worth a visit if you're looking for a sophisticated evening in Odessa, this place. Sadly, the tickets do tend to sell out very quickly, so you generally have to book your tickets in advance. There are booking websites where you can do that. However, you can sometimes get lucky and buy them on the day. So far, I haven't been able to source a ticket, so it just proves how popular they are.
Не считая, что это сон, и упасть раскаленная звезда по имени Солнце.
Okay, so I'm walking through this park called Istanbul Park. I think it was a gift from the sister city, Istanbul. Remember, if you're interested in the city of Istanbul, check out my video on Istanbul. What obviously Odessa became the city it is for now is because it was a port, if that makes any sense. So the reason Odessa exists is because of its strategic point, trade routes, and it's remained that way. It has hundreds, if not thousands, of cargo ships arriving on a weekly basis, and as you can see behind me, just about through the trees, there's the port. I'm going to show you sort of closer picture of that, but it's the sort of everything that comes through the sort of up the Bosphorus. Will eventually, some of it will end up in Odessa. Well, up the Bosphorus into the Black Sea and into Odessa. And this is how Odessa has become the sort of power city that it is now. Obviously, many years ago, it was financially more stable before the sort of financial crisis of about 4 or 5 years ago, before the revolution that was started by George Soros. I know a lot of you disagree on that one, but look into George Soros NGOs funding the revolution that happened around Madison Square, and then sadly causing the war in the East to break out. Everyone, of course, who disagrees on the conspiracy of George Soros will disagree with me on that one. But my point is, the reason Odessa is the city that it is because of the port. And you can't sort of underestimate the amount of money that comes into Odessa because of the shipping and what the port brings in. The reason I filmed the dove that you saw there, if you can see the back of its tails, it was its wings were effectively clipped, giving it no ability to fly. It means it can't escape from its owners. A little bit sort of defenseless. So even though it looks like a tame bird, it's effectively imprisoned because they cut off their tails, not allowing them to fly. If you see this, yes, it's kind of quirky. Yes, it's beautiful animal. But you're endorsing animal cruelty by paying money to the people that sort of enable a dove to sit on your shoulder. Also, be careful; they will probably just put them on your shoulder if you don't ask, and then expect money. So I would avoid at all costs. I appreciate it's someone's livelihood, but livelihoods shouldn't be there to exploit animals, and that is the exploitation of animals. So I'm actually standing on the Potemkin stairs, a little bit of a landmark in Odessa. Not quite the Spanish steps that you'd get in Rome, but still a landmark nonetheless. As you can see, they span all the way up there, giving you a nice view that I just showed you earlier. Very crowded, and then right behind me is the port. It's just almost dropped something there. The port, you can get ferries to various places along the Black Sea. It's quite a busy sort of ferry terminal, but more importantly, is right over there is the big port, and that's where obviously all the goods come in. But it's a lot of steps, a little bit of an exercise, similar to the steps in the best way to describe them, similar to the steps in where was Rocky filmed? Rocky was filmed in there you go, there's my memory going blank. Philadelphia, the steps in Philadelphia, although a lot longer. So you could run up these steps, pretend you're Rocky. I won't be doing that.
Она присела, она может найти
Приготовили свои ноги. Громко потоптали, сделали барабанную
So if you can hear me over the screams, I seem to have found myself at a sort of fan expo. Fans of video games, fans of comic books, fans of TV series, you name it, there's a sort of like expo thing going on. I have to admit, I have no idea what it's about on stage down there because I can't understand the language, but the kids are enjoying themselves. I presume this happens at least once a year. It's a similar to, the best way to describe it is sort of smaller version of Comic Con that you can get in Las Vegas. And right behind me gives you a perspective on just how big the port of Odessa is. It's huge. This is just a section, obviously the other side of the building that I'm on, another section of the port. It does stretch a long way down the coast, and it is one of the more impressive ports that you will see. I don't know statistically where it ranks in the world. Maybe I'll find that information out and post it just here. But it's a big port.
Спасибо большое, группа Peal, спасибо большое за вашу поддержку. Я верю, что она есть. Друзья мои, мне попросили вам передать, что вы можете подходить.
Пересохла в горле плачущих отцов. Не хватает нерва, не хватает слов. Горю не поможет горькою слезой.
So I'm one of the many free concerts that you get in Odessa during the summer months. Obviously being in here, if you come in the winter, things are a little bit different, but just as lively. As some of the shots on the video will tell you, I spliced in a little bit of like what happened in winter, but I sadly didn't record it fully, hence the reason you're getting a more up-to-date video now. But the streets kind of shut down, and you can see that all the cars have stopped here. It's one thing about Ukraine, which I don't think people appreciate until they come here, is just how generally safe the place is. It's a very family-orientated country. Kids will be wandering everywhere. Parents, lots of young people just enjoying themselves. And to be honest, it feels safe. You could put that down to a number of reasons, but it is safe. Many people have said Odessa is the Black Sea's Paris. With restaurants like this, you can believe it. There's some incredibly nice restaurants in Odessa. I've had the good fortune to try a lot of them. This is one of the examples. I'll be honest, the setting is nicer than the actual restaurant. Come for the setting, have a couple of drinks. Best thing to do, check TripAdvisor, and you can basically source some of the best restaurants in town. Obviously, don't always go by some of the comments, but go with some of them. Also, one of the things I really love about Odessa are the trees. Look at these amazing trees. There's trees everywhere, which when it's summer, it makes it a lot cooler. And look at it, in the exception, this tree here behind me, quite a young tree. Maybe someone can tell me what it is, but it's I see them everywhere. Like, they grow up into these big beasts. This one here is one of the bigger ones, but they grow even taller, and they're dotted around Odessa, and they provide amazing cover for when it does occasionally rain, and it just makes it cooler in the midday sun and the sort of when it is hot. Yes, old school. Old school Pepsi. I ordered a vegan burger. This is a vegan burger, by the way, and I got this. This is gloves. Have you ever been offered gloves to eat your burger with? I haven't. So I'm going to use them though.
Попросила дай води, смікай мене не зачула, щоб водив туди-сюди. Оцаца, хочу кожну ніжку, чики-дрики, гарну молодичку. Оцаца, хочу кожну ніжку, чики-дрики, гарну молодичку. Широкий листочок, вітер листя носить, до милої просить, вітер листя носить, до милої просить, зелені дубочок. Day in the night, taking places in the turn to Moscow. Now I'm coming back to drink some ice vodka.
This song pretty much sums up how everyone generally feels in Odessa on a night like tonight. It's Sunday evening, everyone's out, sort of just having a good time. There's concerts going on. It's a nice evening, and this saxophonist pretty much sums up the vibe. I mean, look around, people everywhere.
Понял?